Hello and welcome to the first book review in the new series where I review Warhammer 40k books from the Black Library, without spoilers. The first book in the series I'm reviewing is called Cadian Honour by Justin D. Hill. Why start here? Well, the guy in the Warhammer shop near where I live recommended it for someone who wanted a story based on the Imperial Guard, who was getting into the novels yet already collected the figures and knew about the overall scheme of things in the 41st millennium. The plot of Cadian Honour is based around the planet Potence, which is the capital planet in the Gallows cluster that is faced with invasion by the Scourged, a Chaos cult. General Benedict and the remains of the 101st Cadian Regiment, of which Minka Lesk is a corporal, are sent out to defend the said planet from the renegade Chaos cult. But when arriving on the planet, Minka finds out that it is not the peaceful world that it was advertised, as there are several different human groups vying to control the planet. The book mainly follows the Cadian Imperial Guard as they become accustomed to the new reality of Cadia being gone. The story follows three main characters: Benedict, a general who's loyal to Cadia without a fault, representing the Cadian commanders who used to get their own way by just being Cadian, now having the authority challenged; Karkle, a former civilian painter, now a refugee who was forced to flee his home planet, which was taken over by the Scourged, representing the civilians being displaced by the opening of the Great Rift following the fall of Cadia; and finally, Minka Lesk, who represents an ordinary Cadian soldier now being treated as just another member of the Imperial Guard, rather than a member of the Cadian elite. Of all the viewpoints in this novel, I personally liked Karkle's story the most, mainly because it is a rarity in the 40k universe to get such a detailed account of what life is like for a civilian refugee from the actual point of the refugee, rather than just as a footnote to an account of a member of the Imperium's military. It also gives you a sense of the fear that the ordinary civilians had in the Imperium for the forces of chaos. Most of the non-Imperial Guard characters are also very memorable and have interesting aesthetics, such as Confessor Pitt, who's described looking more like a priest than a confessor. Now, I personally have two issues with this novel. Personally, I felt that the whole Cadian aspect could have been replaced with literally any other guardsman regiment, and the plot would not have changed at all, aside from some minor side plots. Not to downplay the fall of Cadia, but every Imperial Guard force has had awful stuff happen to them. They're the Imperial Guard. Their motto is literally, "We die standing." I did connect with Minka's struggle with her new reality, but again I felt she could literally be any other Imperial Guardsman in the unimaginatively vast Imperium. That, and the fact that the interesting and unique secondary characters such as the Sisters of Battle and the Chief Enforcer are introduced far too late in the book for us to really connect with them on a personal level, similar to the other important characters. But this is nitpicking, and they are portrayed well in the few scenes that they are in. That being said, I loved the final third of this book to bits. It has point of view angles from various characters, all of them being accurately depicted in great detail amongst the vivid event that they are a part of. The climax and the ending pay off dividends all the setup from the earlier parts of the novel. Even if a few key characters had been underdeveloped, the action-packed, heavily descripted ending fleshes them out in the final act. It is definitely a novel where it is mainly build-up with a satisfying payoff at the end. To conclude, Cadian Honour is a recommended read for those who want a story that focuses on the reality of being a refugee in the 41st millennium, along with an epic climax that brings all of the different characters that have been involved in the story. Ironically enough, the weak link in this book is Minka Lesk herself, as it feels that the Cadian troops could be replaced with literally any other Imperial Guard regiment, as the Cadian aspect is not fully developed compared to the other aspects of the story. That being said, as read as a standalone novel, I rate it 3.5 double-headed eagles out of 5. It is not the absolute best novel, with it having a slow start, but once the novel gets going, it is definitely worth the read, with the novel getting substantially better as it goes on.